talk about all the games happened on Thursday, the 13th. We only have 5 games. The first game is the Warriors losing to Milwaukee Bucks. This was supposed to be this is supposed to be match of the night. It didn't happen. Warriors got destroyed, and Curry is a huge buy low. The last, I don't know, it's been like a month now, maybe even more. Curry has shot the ball pretty horribly. Buy low, to me, he's still a top 3 fantasy player. So if you can get a Fred VanVleet for him, like 100% Fred, you can do Fred VanVleet plus somebody to get Curry. Jimmy Butler will be hard because he gets injured way often. Joel Embiid, those type of guys. Like you can get a Harden. Actually, I'm gonna be a little bit hesitant for Harden because I'm actually like Harden has top 3 upside as well. So maybe this one is not as clear. But for a Fred VanVleet, 100%. Cat also is that top 5. So these guys should be in the same tier. Jokic I think is a slightly above the Curry's, the Hardens, Karl Anthony Towns. LeBron, I think if you can get Curry for LeBron, I would do it as well, even though LeBron right now is the number 1 ranked player. Pretty scary stuff, but I think LeBron's going to cool down once AD comes back. And, I mean, at the end of the day, he's old as well. All right, cool. So try to buy Curry low. That's what I'll be doing. Gary Payton played just 5 minutes, got hurt. We don't. With Clay, I don't expect him to play huge minutes anyways, and this is a back-to-back. Kevon Looney played 15 minutes, 3 for 6 from the free throw is bad. He doesn't really have any fantasy values, to be honest. Andrew Wiggins, 27 minutes, 27 minutes, 16 points here. Nobody played well on the Warriors, and Clay still got his 20 minutes. Clay is not going to be a fun guy to own. He's going to play 20 minutes. Who knows, by the end, he'll be getting 25. He's going to miss the back-to-backs. This is the reason why you don't want to draft him, hold him all this time, and he comes back and play 20 minutes. So it's not recommended to draft these type of, like, same thing with Jonathan Isaac, right? Let's say he comes back next month. He's going to play on the minutes restriction forever, especially if they're out for 2 years. That's, yeah. All right. Jordan Poole, 24 minutes. He's been really, really bad. If there's a hot waiver out there, you could drop him. If not, you could hold him. I think it depends on a lot of situations, but for now it's not looking great. He's gonna be in that top 25 minute role with everybody playing, and in that role he's not producing consistently. He could go off anytime he gets an opportunity, but not likely. For the Milwaukee Bucks, great game for everybody. And Giannis, did he start at the point guard? I think he did. But position doesn't really matter now. A triple-double, 3 blocks. Really good stuff from Giannis. Not much else to say. Bobby Portis also kind of went off. 20 points and 7 rebounds in just 24 minutes. Still in block. Good stuff. Chris Middleton also. With Drew Holiday out, you'd expect both him and Giannis to get a few more assists. They both did that and very efficient. This is what the Chris Middleton that we would expect to see. Very, very efficient every single game. Hit a bunch of threes. Good stuff. The rest of the guys, they're really Dante DiVincenzo, Pat Connaughton. With all the guys back, none of them are must rosters. Grayson Allen, you can stream him for threes, and that's it. All right, let's go to the next game. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. Grizzlies beat them at home. Grizzlies are super hot right now. They cannot be stopped. I'm kind of excited to see them in the playoffs. This team. Scary. Wow. They actually just taken Jazz 3rd spot after Jazz lost to the Jazz without Rudy. They are not great. They are not good. They lost 4 straight. Now, very interesting stuff. Grizzlies. This team is. I think it's pretty exciting to watch. Timberwolves. They could be in the play-ins. A lot of young talent on this team. D'Lo played really well, 29 points with 6 threes. Great. Cat, 25 points, also played very well. Still at 2 blocks. Very, very efficient. And Anthony Edwards, they are the big 3. and then they have Vanderbilt and Beverly, two defensive-minded players on this team in the starting lineup. Beverly, what a game! 1 for 9. It's obviously bad, but 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks with 3 points. In fantasy, in category leagues, this is really great. You don't really get him for his scoring. You get him for the other. So he's a must roster guy at the moment. Maybe it's also a bit sell high, but good stuff all around. Jared Vanderbilt also been playing well. No defensive stats this game, but grabbed 13 rebounds. So he's taking some of the rebounds away from Cat, which is not good for Cat. But who cares? Cat is gonna lose one or two rebounds a game. But it's not the end of the world for his value. But overall, they put up a pretty good fight. The game was close all the way till the end. But this Timberwolves team, they could make the plays, and all their young cores are pretty young, so they got some time. They got maybe 2-3 years to see if they can make something happen in the Western Conference. For the Grizzlies, they're already here. They are ready to make some noise in the playoffs this season. See how deep they can go. Without Dillon Brooks, it's no problem, right? Because they got Desmond Bane. And you could argue Desmond Bane is for sure a better fantasy player than Dillon Brooks. Way efficient. Only took 12 field goals, but went to the free throw line 9 times, had 4 steals. We knew, like last year, the guy was good. He'll come in here, hit some threes, but just didn't expect him to be this good. And with Dillon Brooks sidelined for at least like a month or more, he's gonna have great value rest of the way. Ja Morant, not the best game. He was injured a little bit during the game. Still had 16 points and 9 assists, but missed all 7 of his threes. They still got the win though. Reggie Jackson Jr. is the best fantasy player, and he's really enjoying playing center, right? Blocking a lot of shots. Playing alongside Steven Adams has really limited his blocked potential. He's been getting so many blocks. I want to say a sell high, but unless you can get a top 20, 25 player back for him, I would just hold. Top 30, top 35. I mean, he's still shooting the ball very bad, and this game missed all the free throws. 19th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. While 16 points, I mean, he could do more. Like, he could be an 18, 19 point scorer for sure if he can just stay on the court. 1 point for threes, that's also low for Jaren Jackson Jr. 7.6 rebounds, yes, that's great. Without Adams, when Adams is back, probably like 6. But not too crazy. 1.4 assists, sure. 1.5 steals is pretty good. Maybe a bit too high. 3.4 blocks is also too high. But this is not even his peak yet. Like this peak would be like averaging 22 points with 2.5 threes, while shooting like maybe 47%, because he only shot 40% from the field. 79% from the field sounds about right. So when if he has it going, like he's unbelievable. Top 10 player. It's just like many other shot blockers, like Robert Williams, who is like 4th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, if the block's coming in, his ranking is gonna be crazy. Kyle Anderson, we could stream him. DeAnthony Melton is kind of disappointing. With Dillon Brooks out, just getting 15 to 20 minutes. If that's the case, he's not a must roster. You could stream him, but not a must roster. John Conchar come in and played 30 minutes, grabbed 17 rebounds somehow. We know Jaren Jackson Jr. doesn't like to grab those rebounds. He's actually doing the right thing. Block people off so that his teammates could grab the rebound, just like Brook Lopez. Rebounds are just not important for stats. Don't matter to Jaren Jackson Jr. So John Conchar, he's a guy with good stream. Same thing with Brandon Clark, as long as Steven Adams is out. I mean, at this point, do we really need Steven Adams? Doesn't really matter like who comes in and out of the lineup. This Grizzly team just finds a way to win. Doesn't matter. All right, let's talk about the next team. The Clippers lost to the Pelicans. I mean, it's not really an upset. Clippers, they don't have anybody. Ty Lue that really shows how good your coach is. Everybody minutes is low because it was a blowout. Marcus Morris Sr. efficiency fell off. Still a hold. But don't expect him to score 20 points every game consistently. Nicholas Batum, you could stream him for some defensive stats. Had 3 blocks here and a steal. That's great. Zubac, 20 minutes. Everybody's minutes low because the blowout. That's not great for fantasy. Amir Coffey went off last game. This game, just 5 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal, which is okay. If you want to hold on to him, I think that's fine. We don't know when Paul George is coming back, and if he gets 30 minutes, why not hold him? Reggie Jackson also just horrible. Reggie Jackson in the last 2 weeks, every time I look at his stat, he's just being horrible. Yeah, he's not even ranked. With Paul George out, you want him to take that usage. Average 20 points, but that hasn't been the case. He's really, really bad lately. Still a hold, but what's going on with him? Terrence Mann played 31 minutes, 15 points, but I don't think Terrence Mann is a great fantasy player. He doesn't get a lot of defensive stats. His efficiency is not great. Maybe rebound is a nice, he's a nice rebounder, but that's about it. Eric Bledsoe is a drop. Really, this Clippers team right now, even though Paul George is out, there's nobody really soaking up the minutes and usage. They're soaking up the minutes, but fantasy-wise, nobody's really that doing much. For the Pelicans, Herbert Jones, keep it going. 3 steals, 14 points, a must-roster guy, but I think it's probably a sell high. Probably a sell high. Not probably, for sure, he's a sell high. In the last 2 weeks, where is he at? He's a 22nd round player. Just to do a 2-for-1 to see if you can get a top 40, 50 player back. Struggling top 40, 50 player. Otherwise, just write it out, His role on this team is very secure. It's really about his production from... Well, he's also not missing any shots and getting a lot of defensive stats. So a lot of the things he's doing may not be sustainable. Brandon Ingram played really well. I wouldn't say really well, but he got a steal here. 24 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. It's pretty good. Valanciunas also against the bad Clippers team, sure, easy game. 18 points, 16 rebounds. Valanciunas continues to be solid, like a rock. His rebound numbers are pretty consistent. Josh Hart, did a bit of everything, and Devontae 4 for 15 from the field in true Devontae fashion, had 7 assists, 13 points. He's a guy that very, very polarizing. If you're punting field goals, you could have him. Otherwise, he's not really doing a lot of the things outside of threes and assists. Everything else, I would say, maybe negative. A little bit points, obviously. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, 20 minutes. He's not a... We don't want to... I don't even know I want to stream him at this point, right? Getting 20, 25 minutes, and in those minutes, he's not doing much. Pretty disappointed. All right, let's go to the next game. Oklahoma City Thunder scored 130 points on the Nets. That's kind of expected. The Nets, Harden played, but everybody else did not play. And, the Nets, what's interesting is that this year they've been sucking at home. They play great on the road, if you look at the record. Okay, all right. Oklahoma City, well, if you score 130 points, then everybody plays well, right? Aaron Wiggins played 26 minutes, had 9 points. He could be a streamer for some points and threes. But I feel like there are better options out there. Well, not threes. He doesn't actually make that many threes. So I don't know. Maybe some defensive stats and some rebound. But right now, like, his role on this team is not very secure yet. Like, if he gets consistent 30 minutes, then we can have a different conversation. Lou Dort hit 6 threes, 27 points, really went off here. Jermaine Roberts-Earl had a bad game. Again, you could stream him, but if they got a good schedule. But his production is super inconsistent. Josh Giddey played well. He took 11 threes this game. That's a lot of threes, but still shot 47% from the field. So that's good for him. 19 points, 9 assists, and a steal. Good stuff. And Shea has been pretty good in the last 2 weeks. Shea, well, take that back. Just the 65th ranked player. I thought well, the last 2 games he has been good, but maybe not last week. Averaging 21 points, sure. 1.2 threes. All the things he's doing now is sustainable, but 42% from the field is too high, is too low, and 3.3 turnovers is too high. But if your team is pounding turnovers and field goal, I guess he's okay. But ranking-wise, he's not great. He's like Trae Young. A lot of turnovers, or not as many as Trae. and really, really low efficiency. It's just crazy. If you draft him, a 53rd ranked player, to me, he's a top 40 player. On the season, he's shooting 42%, so really, really killing. And the thing is, he's taking 18 field goals a game. So, like, if you look at a guy like, let's look at a guy like Donovan Mitchell, for example. Donovan Mitchell is shooting 45% from the field on 21 shots, of course. So Shai's efficiency is really impacting his value. And then let's look at Trae Young, like, who is not known for his efficiency. Like, we know, okay, this guy's efficiency is bad. But Trae, on the season, is shooting 45%. So 42, that's got to improve from Shai. This game field goal is good. So maybe he's going to slightly improve. But everything, like the counting stat out of Shai is very solid. 10 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. He's a tall guard. He could block some shots. Darius Bazley also played well. 16 points and a block. He could be a block streamer. That's all he is, really. Everything else, well, a little bit of rebounds. Everything else is pretty inconsistent. For the Nets, it's James Harden. Again, Harden is another guy. His efficiency, you draft Harden, you don't really, he's shooting 41%. That's even lower on the season. Usually, like, if you draft Harden in the first round, you don't have to pound field goals with him. Last year, he shot the ball pretty well. This year is 41% on 16 attempts. So that's also got to improve, I think. He should be around 45, 40, 44. And when it happens, he'll be close to like a top 5 player. Well, not close to. He should be a top 5 player. But this game, other than the bad efficiency, he had 3 threes, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. This is the Harden that we want to see more out of, because he could not only get steals but blocks as well. Good stuff. Bruce Brown, well, it was against Oklahoma City, so I don't know how much it means, getting those defensive stats. Bruce Brown, 2 steals, 3 blocks. But again, I don't really want to stream him because the minutes is inconsistent. Next game, KD's going to be back. We don't know. Like, for all these guys, DeAndre Bembry, Kessler Edwards, De'Aaron Sharp, Bruce Brown. Well, next game, some of the big men got to return for the Nets, right? So really, fantasy-wise, other than Patty Mills on this team, everybody else's minutes is up and down. Steve Nash is really, this game without all the, KD, without KD, like without the main starters, he just played everybody this game. Just trying to figure out how whoever is playing well in the previous 2 possessions, just give him more minutes, and that's it. Cam Thomas played 33 minutes, had 21 minutes. He also played okay, but yeah. This loss is kind of expected, to be honest. And the Nets they were actually a favorite going into the game. With Harden and a bunch of other guys, really. The next game was just a really surprise. Not really. Portland lost to Denver at Denver. While the news came out that Damian Lillard is gonna, he did the surgery. They said they're gonna reevaluate in 5 to 6 weeks. I think the chances are for him to play again is pretty low, and even if he does play, there's no point. First of all, there's no point. Even if he does play, there's no reason for him to score 30 to average 30 points. He probably just take it easy, to be honest with you. A lot of situations like this, like if he just done the surgery beginning of the season, like he's already back, which is the frustrating part. Like they try to play through the injury, and then when they can't do it anymore, then they do the surgery. Why not just get it over with in the beginning of the season, right? But like maybe you can use this news to sell him still to get any value back. Cause they say reevaluate 5-6 with some people might, and there's still a possibility, obviously, but it's not high. So maybe you can use, if you still got Damian Lillard, if you haven't dropped him, you can use this to sell him to get like a top 100 player. I don't think that would be too hard. If the people believe in the news that, hey, maybe he come back in 70 weeks around fantasy playoff time. Just try to get anything back, to be honest. That's a little, this game, played 27 minutes, hit 3 threes. Like, he's a guy that we could stream. But Larry Nance Jr. comes back, we don't know what's going to happen. Robert Covington went off again, 4 steals, 7 rebounds. He's good. Also a sell high because when Larry Nance Jr. comes back, they're going to kind of take some of the minutes away, I think. Yusuf Nurkic, 25 minutes, a steal and a block, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, good stuff. Yusuf Nurkic should be getting more minutes. He was in some foul trouble. But I expect him to have a really good second half. So if you can buy low on Yusuf Nurkic, throw him like a top 60 player, it's something I'll be looking to do. But McLemore, we could stream him, because he's the only shooting guard before Norman Powell or CJ come back. Dennis Smith Jr. is a good stream with Fernie Simons out, and he will continue to be a good stream. Efficiency might be an issue, but he gets a plenty of defensive stats usually. 17 points, 8 assists. 8 assists is also great, and a steal. Let's look at the Denver Nuggets, the last team we're gonna talk about today. Jeff Green, 19 points. Hey, that's what it takes when you play Blazers. If you're struggling, you need to get some of your confidence back. You gotta play the Blazers. Everybody played well in Denver. Aaron Gordon didn't play well, but had a block and 8 rebound. I guess that's okay. He's one of those players, has the minutes, right? But just not producing. Playing next to Jokic, you should be getting some easy layups. I don't know. Jokic, easy work. 2 blocks, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. If earlier in the season you got Jokic for Curry, congratulations. I think Jokic is still by far the number 1 player. Like, he's a tier above like the Curry, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. I think he's in his own tier. Will Barton also played okay. Played well, 21 points and 4 threes, but missed a bunch of free throws. Monty Morris played just 22 minutes. And Facu Campazzo, this guy, man, went off again. Have 0 rebounds, but it's okay. Had 3 threes, 12 rebounds, 4 steals. I remember he going off versus the Rockets. So if the Denver is playing some bad teams, I feel like he always goes off. So you could think about streaming him, especially if they're playing some inferior competition. If they play the Milwaukee Bucks, maybe you don't want to play him. But if they play the Rockets, they play Portland Trailblazers, expect this guy to get a bunch of steals and go off. He's not going to do this every single game, obviously. And that's it for all the games, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.